too often we get referred to as geeks, and Lord knows who else. I am Brian Paisley, Freedom Computer Services. Tell you a little bit about myself. I have been married now for 15 years to my wife, who has put up with all of my rantings and ravings and Lord knows what else, and all the other various nightmares that we've been through. I've got 3 wonderful children, ages 9, 7, and 5. In fact, yesterday was my 5-year-old birthday. And I'm a little sore from walking all over creation at Walt Disney World. So, you know, that's all kids. I started the business about 9 years ago, shortly after the birth of my oldest. It's kind of been developing ever since. And what I would like to talk to you about this morning is something a little different. A lot of times you hear me talking about security, and I want to go ahead and address that. What are some of the basic things that we can do to actually secure your data? Because let's face it, how many of y'all have been tagged by a virus? Good number, everybody. Okay. Virus is the most common way at this point in time for viruses to be transmitted are either 1, by websites, or 2, by email. Okay, it used to not be that way. It used to be, get it from somebody else that had one on a floppy disk or whatever, and you get tagged in that way. But now with the internet, that's become wide open. Now you can get stuff every time you turn around. It's like, you just go to a normal website. I had a client not too long ago. Went to, oddly enough, dictionary.com and got tagged with a virus. Tell me that wasn't messed up. But what I want to talk to you about some basic strategies, something you can actually use to prevent some of this garbage from happening. Because anymore, what they're trying to do is actually get money. They're not out there just to cause general havoc. They're trying to scam you into giving credit card information or whatever, and then sit there and rack up charges from here next Tuesday. I've seen that happen as well, where someone had fallen to one of these fake antivirus programs to get installed from a website or whatever, and then getting charges for thousands of dollars and having a recourse. So I want to address that. What are some of the things that you can look for? Let's focus on your email. What are some of the things you can look for? Let's say you get an email, it's got an attachment. I'm open for thoughts here.
If I get an email that has an attachment on it and I don't know exactly who it's coming from, I don't open it.
Very good. A lot of times, though, let me throw another twist on this. There are viruses out there that will actually spoof or fake your own address or fake somebody else's address to send you said virus.
I get that all the time. All the time. I get emails from friends and then I'll call them and say, hey, somebody's got into your email or something, and they go and change their passwords out and you quit seeing it.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. That's actually very, very good to do that. I know somebody personally, I receive thousands of emails in any given week. Across 5, 6 different addresses. And it's a common occurrence to see, at least on a weekly basis, I would say easily 15 to 20 emails like that. Lynn?
Recently I've had a couple of secure sites where when you've gone to put in information to purchase something, it's asked you once again to re-enter your information, only it's asked you for your ATM PIN number.
Yeah. That's a new one. I haven't seen that one yet.
SunPass. I was on the SunPass site the other day and did it, and there's a virus on their site.
Ouch.
Oh, wow.
Where you put in your credit card information and they usually have some sort of a password for the site. It brings up another one where we're doing a second secure check. Re-enter your information, but it asks for the ATM PIN number. So I, didn't access the site and called them.
Very good.
But the same thing happened on SunTrust, believe it or not.
Wow.
Give those numbers to Brian. Those are great referrals.
Yeah, absolutely.
My husband is very adamant. He will not use, especially our company business credit card over the internet. That's Marge. But I keep getting that transaction payment canceled, this, that, and the other thing.
Yes.
CH. So I never open them. I just delete those. Is those like
With
virus?
good reason, because it is in fact a virus.
It is.
Yes.
Because I keep saying,
I
"Honey,
usually
are you
get about
sure?"
a
Because it's
dozen of
Christmas
that a
time.
week
Okay.
or more.
Craigslist.
But if you even open it, just to click on it, it will.
If you open the email itself, no. Where the problem lies is the attachments.
Okay.
With an email, if you go and open the attachments, that's where you run into trouble.
Is there anything
The
that we
email
can do to
itself
stop
won't
getting them?
What's that?
Is there anything we can do to stop getting them?
Unfortunately, no, because they're coming from so many other different locations throughout the internet. So there's unfortunately no way necessarily to stop them other than to go and block things that look like that. Which there are software that's adaptive for your email, that's spam filtering, that will go ahead and go from what you've set and clean it out for you. Johnny.
How come people never get arrested for this crap? How come you never see somebody go to prison for costing us millions of dollars?
Because of how, one really big reason, because of how far spread, like that, for example, let's take that ACH transaction thing. That has become so muddied throughout the internet, there's no way to trace it back.
A lot of it's probably coming from overseas, too.
As can be anywhere. And it's bounced for so many different times, it's next to impossible to trace it.
Can't we create a virus that accidentally
That'd be good, unfortunately.
Hey, Brian, can you talk to people about the attachments that look safe, like that joke email that you might have gotten, or the picture of a 400-pound dog, or all these other seemingly safe attachments that oftentimes have Trojan horses in them?
Absolutely. And one of the biggest things to look for with attachments are really files of really about 3 different types are really the major factors. When you look at these attachments, like Jason was talking about, you've got EXE files, which are executables, that when you run them will infect your computer immediately, do whatever. Which a lot of times, like you're saying, those joke emails and things like that, that go along with. And a lot of times you can get viruses that way. Another one is an SCR file, which goes back to the earlier days of Windows, which was originally a screensaver, but is actually what is called a portable executable file. And basically what it will do is by doing this, you think, oh, wait a minute, this is just a screensaver, when in reality it's not. Other things, COM files or executables. There are also other ways to do that they're working with now using JavaScripts. HTML files, if you get those via email, that's something else to look out for. You don't necessarily want to open any of those files unless, and again, it goes back to what Johnny was saying, you have to know the source. And you have to be able to confirm it. If you know for a fact that that person that you get this email from did definitely send this file, then you're okay. In most cases. Unless the person came from has a virus to begin with.
Well, I've gotten several, probably in the last couple of months, from past clients. And the first one, I don't know if I want to say Doogie or whatever, but I clicked on it because it was just from this person that I knew, but there was no message, subject, there was just like a link. And I was like, well, what are they sending? I clicked on it, and I don't even remember what it was, but as soon as I clicked on it, I was like, wait a minute, this is not from that person, and I just deleted it. I assume because you have antivirus on your computer, everything's fine, yeah?
Not necessarily. They're developing software now that actually will evade and in fact attack antivirus software. Yeah, absolutely.
What are some signs when you're using your computer? Maybe it's slower or it's not. Are there some signs that you can know that you have a virus?
Unusual behavior, and the system will lock up. You'll notice things pop up if you didn't before, pop-up ads, things like that. The system will run slower. Those are all possible warning signs. But there's no one set group of things that you can look for and say, oh yeah, I've got a virus.
Do you have like a monthly maintenance plan for like big companies that want to use you as an IT guy, so they can pay a monthly maintenance fee and you just kind of on call for that?
Absolutely. I do that actually with several of my clients. Before I get you, I want to go ahead and get into at least one other aspect that ties in with what I was talking about earlier with my 30 seconds. Before I get too carried security stuff one-on-one. What I want to talk about in particular, also, how many have seen wireless connections?
Yes.
With 5 little goofy characters for the ID.
Okay.
It ties in with security as well, and there's a reason for this. Those routers that you see with those 5 characters are set up by Verizon. And each one, they're set up in such a way, there are actually apps for phones that you type in that 5-character information, and more often than not have the key. And you have access to the network that quick. Also tying along with that, wireless security. And this is kind of big, because you've got so many wireless networks out there, and especially dealing with businesses. And I want to address this before I get carried away. If I can have about 2 seconds, I'll finish my thought. WEP encryption, which is what's commonly in a lot of these routers, especially like Verizon. There was at a security conference a couple of years ago. Thankfully, it was the good guys that did this. A group of people from the FBI went and had, using just normal available tools on the internet, broke WEP encryption of any level up to 184-bit within a matter of a half hour. WEP encryption is not secure by any means.
Okay.